1 month later.
Adam.
Kathy walked about the lair.
Adam.
She turned a corner to see Night Shadow working on something.
Hey, Night Shadow, have you seen Adam?
I haven't, he said, not looking up from his work. Have you checked the logbook? She paused and thought. She hadn't. She kept forgetting that thing and all of her business with new remote school classes and the like.
No, I'll check there.
He's probably just out on patrol. She walked over to the computer and brought up the log. It said that he was on patrol. 6 hours ago?
Whoa, Shadow, the log says Blue has been on patrol for 6 hours now.
Has he checked in yet? She scanned through the program.
Yes, he has. Wow.
She wondered if she should go check in on him. Ever since the incident, he had been extremely distant and had dove into his training like never before. But he also refused any help or assistance and much human contact. Maybe you should go check in on him. That did sound like a good idea. She suited up and left. A shadow stood atop a building in the dark, a cape draped around his body, head lowered in brooding thought. Shadowed eyes pierced into the night below. She approached from behind him.
Hey, Adam?
The tall silhouette didn't budge. Then she realized she let it slip.
I mean, Blue?
Still not a muscle.
Well, how are you?
Another pause. Fine.
Oh, just coming to check on you. You've been on patrol a long time.
I checked in, didn't I?
Yeah, well, I just, what's up?
Another pause.
Well, I guess you want to be alone, huh?
She said as she slowly approached. She looked up into his piercing gaze that stared off into the dark. Now, he suddenly said, and he produced a cable from nowhere and suddenly swung down from the building. And then she realized he was on stakeout. Another mission, that was all. It took her a second until she heard the glass shatter. Well, now she just felt kind of stupid. But then, maybe she could make up for it with assistance. Then she produced a grapple, an ample rope, and swung in too. But as she swung, gunshots filled the air. She rolled through the hole he had punctured in the massive windows of the penthouse suite. Smoke was everywhere. She tried to stand to get a better look above the heavier smoke as she coughed. A shot and a bullet zinged through the air, grazing her arm.
Ah!
She dropped to the floor, holding her arm tight as blood trickled between her fingertips. She suddenly saw a massive shadow of maybe a table lifted up on its side and felled upon several silhouettes, then knuckles on jaw, broken glass or a vase. The sound that comes from air being forced out of men's lungs, several hard impacts against walls, and then silence muffled only by groaning. The smoke began to clear from the updrafts, common around tall buildings, coming into the room. Kathy peeked out. The smoke began to clear from the updrafts, common around tall buildings, coming into the room. Kathy peeked around as best she could, still trying to muffle coughs. Then massive black boots stomped past her. She was taken back at first, but saw it was only Blue, until she saw the body he drugged by the ankle. Slinging the man around and lifting him, a cold gust of air brought him more to consciousness at the window. Then a final slap made the thug aware. Kathy stood and carefully approached Blue and his new friend. Listen, friend. You have 30 seconds to tell me all you know about this money.
What?
Blue lifted the man up and held him over the gaping distance between buildings. Now!
It's counterfeit. We use a special ink. It burns a special color. Otherwise it looks legit.
Who supplies it?
I don't know.
Time's up.
What? No!
The man managed to catch the ground as he fell, now dangling by both hands on the edge of the window. His grip painful and slipping as he held onto the shards of broken window glass. Looks like you bought yourself some time. A cold black boot threatened to crunch down on fingers. but not much. Who's the supplier?
I don't know, man. Please don't let me fall.
I'm not your friend. Tell me what I want to know, or you die. Kathy, eyes wide with fear, took a few timid steps forward. Was he going to do it? There was no way he could catch him in time, with the man's arms all the way down there. A black boot stomped down on fingers. Knuckles popped and bones cracked. The man in the nice suit screamed as his hand dropped away from the edge of the ledge. Dangling by one hand, his face paled with dispriety.
Last chance. He'll kill me, and you if I tell.
Then we'll die. Give me the name.
Mayhem. It was Mayhem.
The second boot stomped down.
No!
The man cried as he fell. But then Kathy also realized it was her voice as well, with the nicely dressed thugs. She stopped at the edge and saw the man hanging by a dislocated leg from the cable Blue had used to swing in. He must have tied it on to the man's leg with a loose slip knot and kept the man's attention off it like a pickpocketer does when they steal a watch off your hand with their arm on your shoulder. He hung there, bouncing against the side of the building, crying. Grab the phony money. Kathy realized after a second he was talking to her. Oh. She stepped away and grabbed up a massive briefcase full of cash. This is all counterfeit?
Not anymore.
And Blue grabbed a small stack of bills off the table, then a small thermite heat-based bomb from his belt, and tossed the bomb in the case, slammed it shut in her arms, and flung it out the window. She stared. Suddenly a pop came from outside, and purple smoke flew into the air as well. We're leaving, he said, as she suddenly realized he was at the exit, pushing the money into his belt. Back at the lair, Kathy sat wrapping her arm. Blue stood over the table in his analyzation of the money. Kathy stepped off the table and walked forward. So, what are you looking for?
I'm analyzing the money sample they were all handling for fingerprints, DNA, art style, material consistency, ink, molecular structure, and the like. Anything I can find that will link me to the printing press they are getting it from.
Oh. She didn't know what to say. Can I help?
You can.
She perked up and stepped forward a step.
By spending 40 hours in the training simulator this week.
She stopped. She was beginning to think he hadn't noticed her wound at all. He looked down on her from his height, and the light behind him made him a shadow, except for the light bouncing off the whites of his eyes.
You got hurt today. Had that shot been an inch more to the left, you would have serious muscle damage. Could have busted a vein. Let alone a few more inches to the left.
I get it.
I don't think you do. If you're going to come into combat, you get in on the planning, and you wear more armor than that. Your outfit for surveillance isn't suitable for actual operations.
She stopped. Anger furrowed her brow.
Too many have died recently because of me, Kathy,
he said, firm and true. And she knew he was right.
Fine.
She slinked off.
Where are you going?
She stopped.
That meeting was set up between various smaller crime lords spread throughout the city. We now know that they work for Mayhem. Mayhem has counterfeit bills. If we can find his printing press and stash, we can bankrupt him and possibly slow his plans even further.
What about the plates?
I suspect they were stolen. If they're not, then they must be copies of the real ones. If so, then the United States government has a leak. We'll need to inform them somehow, and also give them enough evidence to take the anonymous tips seriously to induce an investigation.
Oh.
In the meantime, I need you to start moving your surveillance equipment to higher stake locations. No more small fries.
He pointed to a map of the city on the computer.
Here are the locations of as many mob bosses as I could track so far. I need you to bug their places of home and office. We need to find out where the money is coming from ASAP.
It all made sense.
Set up a voice recognition program to listen for key words, especially these on the list I found while eavesdropping to find these bills.
She looked up from her thoughts. Adam was staring at her, waiting for her to reply. Well, not Adam, actually. Who was this guy? He surely wasn't the same fist-throwing, youthful lad who'd just picked up a few skills and tossed on a cape. He was something different. Serious.
Well,
an eyebrow raised.
Oh,
She snapped out of it.
I'll get right on it,
She said with new vigor. Yes, he was going to be all right after all. But still, she'd keep an eye on him all the same.